You've seen it before. Someone walks into the room and acts like they're already above you, not louder, not smarter, just certain that they matter more, certain that you need to impress them, and without realizing it, most people accept that invisible pressure. They start adjusting their tone, choosing their words carefully, trying to prove something that was never questioned until that moment. That's where they lose. Not in the conversation, but in the frame. Because the second you feel the need to prove your worth to someone, you've already placed them above you in your own mind. And that's the real game. It's not about intelligence, status, or success. It's about who controls the psychological frame. People who act superior understand one thing very well. If they can make you react, they control you. A small smirk, a dismissive comment, a subtle interruption. These are not random behaviors. They are signals, tests. They are watching to see if you'll try to defend yourself, explain yourself, or seek their approval. And most people do exactly that. They talk more than necessary. They over-explain simple things. They try to appear confident instead of being composed. And every extra word, every emotional reaction feeds the illusion that the other person is above them. But here's what almost nobody notices. The people who act superior are often the most dependent on attention, dependent on reaction, dependent on others playing along with their silent script. Strip away your reaction and their entire structure begins to crack. That's why the most dangerous move is not aggression, it's not confrontation, it's control. The ability to stay still when someone expects movement. The ability to remain calm when someone tries to provoke you. The ability to say less when others are trying too hard. Because in that stillness, something shifts. The dynamic changes. The person who was trying to dominate now has nothing to push against. No resistance, no emotion, no confirmation. And suddenly, they're exposed. This is where you stop being predictable. This is where you stop being easy to read. This is where you stop playing the role they expected you to play. And once that happens, you don't just avoid being controlled. You become the one controlling the entire interaction without saying a word. That's the shift most people never reach. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Before we move forward, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I never prove myself. Number 1. Ego as a psychological weakness. Ego doesn't come from strength. It comes from instability that learned how to wear confidence like a mask. The people who walk around acting superior are not grounded in certainty. They are addicted to comparison. They measure themselves constantly, scanning every room for someone to stand above. And when they find you, they don't attack directly. They apply pressure in subtle ways, a dismissive tone, a slight smirk, a calculated interruption. It's not random behavior, it's positioning. They are trying to place themselves higher in the invisible hierarchy that exists in every interaction. But here's the flaw in their strategy. Ego cannot survive on its own. It needs fuel. It needs acknowledgement. It needs you to feel something. The moment you react, whether through irritation, defensiveness, or even overconfidence, you give them exactly what they are looking for. You confirm that their presence has influence over you. And influence, even in small amounts, becomes leverage. This is why ego-driven individuals are constantly provoking. Not because they are powerful, but because they are dependent. They rely on your emotional response to maintain their illusion. Without it, they have nothing to stand on. Niccolò Machiavelli once pointed toward this dynamic in his own way. Men are driven more by appearances than by reality. And ego is the perfect example of that. It creates an appearance of dominance while hiding a need for validation underneath. When you understand this, you stop seeing arrogance as strength. You start seeing it as exposure. Every condescending remark reveals insecurity. Every attempt to belittle someone else exposes a need to feel elevated. Every forced display of confidence shows a fear of being ignored. These are not signs of control, they are signals of weakness, but only to the person who knows how to read them. Most people miss this completely. They take ego at face value. They assume the person acting superior must actually be superior, so they adjust. They become more agreeable, more reactive, more eager to prove themselves. And in doing so, they feed the very behavior that put them beneath in the first place. But you're not going to play that role anymore. You're going to do something different. You're going to remove the fuel. No reaction, no visible irritation, no attempt to correct their perception. You let their behavior exist without resistance. And when that happens, something uncomfortable begins to unfold for them. The absence of reaction creates silence, and in that silence, their ego has nothing to attach to. No confirmation, no control, no structure. It forces them into uncertainty, and uncertainty is where ego collapses. Because without your response, they can't measure themselves against you. They can't feel superior if you're not participating in the comparison. That's the shift. You stop being a participant and become an observer. You don't engage in their need for dominance. You don't challenge it directly either. You simply don't acknowledge it. And that's what makes it disappear. Quietly, completely. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I don't feed ego. Number 2, the trap of reacting. The moment you feel the urge to respond, pause, because that urge is not random. It was triggered, and once it's triggered, the situation is no longer neutral. It's controlled. People who position themselves above others understand this better than most. They don't need to overpower you physically or intellectually. They just need to move you emotionally. A slight jab, a subtle doubt, a carefully placed comment that questions your competence without saying it directly. And suddenly you feel it, the need to speak, to correct, to defend, to prove. That moment right there is the trap, because the second you step into explanation mode, you abandon control. You start playing on their terms. And their terms are built for one outcome, you chasing validation while they maintain the upper position. It doesn't matter how intelligent your response is. It doesn't matter how logical your explanation sounds. The act of responding itself lowers your position in the dynamic. Why? Because you are now seeking to be understood by someone who never intended to understand you. You are trying to gain approval from someone who benefits from withholding it. And emotional provocation is one of the oldest forms of deception. It convinces you that speaking will restore your position, when in reality, it quietly weakens it. Most people don't see this happening. They think silence means losing. They think not defending themselves looks like weakness. So they rush to explain every misunderstanding, justify every decision, and correct every false assumption. But what they fail to realize is this. People who already decided your position will not change it because of your words. In fact, your effort only reinforces their control. It shows them exactly how to move you again. The more you explain, the more predictable you become. And predictability is easy to manipulate. Now contrast that with someone who doesn't react. Someone who hears the same comment, feels the same pressure, but chooses stillness instead of response. No correction, no defense, no visible shift in emotion, just presence. That kind of response, or lack of it, creates something powerful. It introduces uncertainty, and uncertainty